So I want to thank everybody for coming this morning. Welcome to Solving the Top Problems in Distribution. During this presentation, we'll convey some of the lessons we've learned working with distributors over the past 30 years. Over this time, and using several different business management solutions, we've overcome many of the problems that we'll be discussing. We've also seen how the answers we have also seen how the answers have changed as the markets, customers, and business owners have evolved. Many of the examples used today will come from companies who supplied goods to the construction industry, such as flooring, heating, and air systems, and other material suppliers. A brief introduction to my background is pertinent because I've been on many sides of the systems implementation equation. Starting as a CPA, I helped customers automate their processes when systems were just starting. I've also served as a controller, a CFO for hire, and a CIO of a large cabinet manufacturer, and now as a small business owner here at iBusiness Network and our SAPdistribution.com. Our team is bringing over 100 years of combined experience implementing systems for hundreds of distributors through SAPdistribution.com. And we've always been an innovator, where back in 1999, the word cloud was just water vapor in the sky, and we took our experience at Accenture implementing technology and saw how the internet could be a game changer. In 2003, when SAP Business One became available in the U.S. market, we saw the potential in this product and as a tool for the future. We've achieved the top partner certifications from SAP and have experience in the product, industry, and specific business processes to provide rapid, low-risk systems for distributors. By packaging software and industry best practices into turnkey solutions, we've again pioneered the way customers get returns on their investment in systems. Our first customer was an HVAC distributor, and as an implementer, we have distributors going live every month on our platform. So, what are the top problems? We've identified 4. Although we hope after today's webinar you will believe that we can help you solve many problems, we're not a recruiting firm and will not find you skilled laborers to add to your team. Hopefully, through some of the concepts we will talk about today, we will make your company more attractive to new employees. Whether it's because of increased competition, shrinking margins, or the simple desire to grow your business, one of the most common issues we see is how can we increase sales and revenues. And whether you're a distributor or additionally install and service your products, quality and estimating saves money. Estimating makes mistakes hurt the bottom line and customer satisfaction. And although many of my customers are quite successful, they didn't get there by not caring about the bottom line. Controlling costs gives you the flexibility to compete on price or to be more profitable when you don't have to. So at this point, I'd like to throw it out to the attendees to enter any additional concerns that they see as the top problems in distributions in the chat. Are there any other big problems we're missing? So please, use the chat and we can unmute your line if more clarification is required. So yes, warehouse management, inventory optimization is included in the control and cost section that we're going to be discussing here shortly. So why don't we just continue on with increasing sales. And first and foremost, we must recognize and accept that our market is becoming more competitive. Even as consolidations for manufacturers and large distributors happen more frequently, the barriers to entry have also dropped with the rise in Gen X, Y, or some letter, or millennial buyers who like to shop online. As evidenced from this customer review site, the ever-hyped push into the internet will not stop regardless of what my generation thinks. According to research by Syndicate Market Research, recovery of the construction industry is expected to be one of the main drivers for the growth of the market over the next few years. Moreover, increased consumer expenditure on interiors of houses, hotels, and offices is expected to contribute significantly to the growth of the market. At the end of the day, all a small to mid-sized distributor needs to do is to know how to grab their share of this growing market. The most common suggestion for increasing sales is the use of omnichannel, the new term for selling the way the customer wants to be sold to, whether it's in person, online, through agents, or however. Historically, channels were added independently as the idea came to the business owner. We should add e-commerce. Or what is that social thing? The concept differs from multi-channel in that it's really a comprehensive approach that uses a single data model. So from our perspective, omnichannel is really the new buzzword for the implementation of multi-channel sales with a plan to make it more effective. One great advantage of being in the SAP family is access to great research, which we can bring for bringing best practices to our customers. This infographic from Hybris is based upon research from large enterprises on the impact of omnichannel and how to do it well. The impact of omnichannel when done properly is clear and compelling, with a 43% return on investment over a 10-year period. When it comes to branding, small businesses like ours will never have the name recognition of other great Atlanta-based companies like Coca-Cola or Home Depot. However, within our target market and in the SAP community, we can create a great customer experience which will pay dividends as we properly execute on our own omnichannel strategy. So if you really want to grow your business, you must recognize that the market is changing and that customers are making inquiries via social media and expect promotions and pricings will be the same regardless of whether they buy online, in-store, or from a salesperson. And although this study is a little bit dated, even back in 2014, 58% of customers were already willing to share details such as measurements and sizes with retailers, and the willingness to share information is only growing. So, for a small to mid-sized business, an online store is typically the first step for multi-channel sales. The best companies will have a single integrated e-commerce experience. And we all know how frustrating it is to have bought something online and not to be able to return or exchange it on the store. So for it to be convenient and effective, it truly needs to be integrated. By that I mean online products come from your inventory system, the quantity available comes from your designated warehouse or all warehouses, orders flow seamlessly from the web store into your warehouse for fulfillment, and credit card charges are also recognized in the accounting function. Customers are notified with the status of the order, tracking numbers are sent to customers and updated on the website. Consistency is also easier when it is all integrated. And one of the great advantages of today's technology is the ability to tailor the marketing and sales to specific groups of customers. So if you provide different pricing for designers, that price should be automatically populated whether the customer is online in your showroom or you're sitting on a couch in their home office. Best-in-class companies, defined as the top-performing distributors in terms of growth and profitability, are completely integrated, not just internally, but also with their e-commerce systems and more increasingly with their customer and supplier portals. This study from the Aberdeen Group specifically studied wholesale distributors to identify differences between those that were considered best in class and everybody else. So omnichannel is part of the shift from the old adage where knowledge was power to the new networked world where sharing information is empowering. And we'll come on that a little bit more later, but integration of all these systems means that the customer will get the same answer whether they call for a quote, look up the part online, log into their portal, or see what they paid the last time through, again, either the web store or their customer portal. Integration provides consistency between the salesperson and the warehouse. Remember that working with the customers the way they want is the mantra for omnichannel performance. And that also means agility because customers want to work online. Think about the millennials and how they watch TV and movies on their phone. And in reality, your salespeople want the answers where they are. If I place an order now, when can it be shipped? If it is not in stock, when is it available to promise? And most importantly, they want the right answer when they find it online, on their tablet, or when they call in. We've seen many customers who are living the nightmare of trying to keep inventory synchronized and manually from their warehouse to their online store and their business management software. And those companies which didn't have that consistency did have consistency in overstocks and understocked situation. As they moved to an integrated platform, consistency between how much was showing online in every location was established, and consistency across platforms improves not only your salesperson's satisfaction with you as an employer, but the customer's satisfaction that when they ask you a question, they get the right answer. So what you can do is really recognize that the key to sales has always been to meet the requirements of the customer. And today's customer wants to buy after they've done their research independently using the medium they want. The research process is trending more towards social interactions. 2,000 complete strangers can write reviews about a restaurant online and kill it or make it the new hotspot. In my own neighborhood, there are 700 homes, and we have a Facebook page just for the moms to share recommendations. And in my larger neighborhood of East Cobb, Georgia, the mom's website has thousands of people making recommendations on everything from recipes to car buying or where you should get your flooring from. After they've done their research, the purchasing is increasingly becoming online. As shown earlier, Costco, Wayfair, Amazon, and others are encroaching on what used to be business-to-business in-person transactions. Now more than ever, it's important to have a presence. However, in the end, you have to fight the sales war on your own terms. You do not compete. We don't compete, with Amazon Web Services for cloud services, and you should not compete with your local or national competitor by copying them. If your strength is your amazingly experienced sales team, you need to use it through the new mediums to get people to interact with those assets that your firm has. Get your message out and get engaged through social media, online chat, or however your target market wants to interact. So I think we've beat this horse enough. So why don't we move on to accuracy in estimating? And accuracy of estimation in construction-related industries can be viewed from two different angles. One is from the accounting angle, or an exactness accuracy. From the other angle is really about the job performance-based accuracy perspective. Exactness accuracy is basically just a matter of taking the time to review the drawings and come up with the correct count of material, where job performance accuracy is an area where the money is made or lost. That's more about how well does the team perform. As most business owners know, they can't replace themselves easily because of their unique experience and history with the company and products. Many an owner have told me that they would need 3 or more people to replace themselves. It's kind of like watching a really good murder mystery movie, where each time you watch the movie, you catch more clues that could have led you to the correct answer. Except now the movie is your business, and that staff person can't pick up on the clues to estimate accurately. So one of the best responses for increasing accuracy in estimating from a performance perspective is to replace your personal experience providing those history books to your team. We have a customer who installs HVAC systems in malls for chain stores. The footprint in these stores is relatively similar each time, and they have records for each site that they've done over the past 7 to 10 years. So a quick comparison of one Gap store versus another Gap store, or the average Gap store, can provide a quick reality check and eliminate errors for the new estimator. However, the estimator may not realize that the mall requires you to air condition the hallway outside the store. In many malls, there are no mall air conditioners and only store air conditioners. So if they went strictly on square footage, they would be missing the boat on how much air conditioning they're expected to provide contractually from that mall. So in business management systems, you need to have a classification scheme so that the less experienced estimator can find that history, whether it be job type, customer groups, or other classifications that can help narrow down the number of projects that the estimator should review in order to get the sanity check that their estimate is not just technically correct for that store space, but accurately estimated based upon the requirements of that job. We view our systems as tools, and better tools aren't just for building things. Some customers can create estimating templates in the form of a standard sales bill of material where supplies and expendables are calculated based upon square footage estimates. Your particular history lesson may be different, but the concept is proven that it can be translated into a systems configuration. So here is an example of how business problems aren't simple. If they were, you wouldn't need systems or consultants. This case was true for a customer of ours who distributes ceramic tile. Most people measure their floors in square feet. Flooring comes in different sizes, both metric and imperial. Flooring comes in boxes with different counts per box. Flooring is produced in batches and tracked by lots for color and other visual attributes. No room is perfectly shaped to eliminate waste. So a sales representative must be able to quickly ascertain if there is enough tile to meet a specific customer order. Furthermore, some customers demand that all units come from a single die lot. To meet these requirements, we had to preload over 7,000 unique unit of measure conversions to help with estimating. We can also associate estimating factors by item group or other attribute to calculate a rounding factor to determine how many boxes are required to meet a particular order and basically to accommodate a preset factor of waste. Of course, the complexity never stops there, as some products we may allow partial boxes, while other products that don't have enough transaction volume, we may require whole box purchases. And of course, you may work for a flooring distributor who blends lots based upon different parameters. One of our customers has 3 different parameters for gradation of color, pattern differences, and texture differences to assist the warehouse people in the blending process for orders. You may want to have a system that can adapt to customer needs and provide the flexibility for better information. All of these differences in processes are supported by SAP Distribution without any modification of the software. So that actually helps you control costs. But if you're a distributor, inventory optimization is to controlling costs as location is to real estate. Most distributors who need improvement find it in their warehouse. If your warehouse is not optimized, we see results anywhere from a 10% reduction in the carrying value of your inventory all the way up to 30%. These savings can often pay for an entire new system in the first year. Of course, the improvement in accuracy of estimates can save you money, especially in the lot-tracked industry or when you're performing fixed-fee installation services. And managing labor costs can also drive tremendous savings. I don't expect that I can reduce the number of material handlers from 20 to 3 as I did for a paper distributor back when it was Y2K and we were replacing systems that couldn't make that transition. But we can often reduce labor costs through inventory optimization or increase profitability on project-based labor through better estimating. Inventory optimization takes many forms, and it's clearly aided by better tools. Because you can set minimum inventory quantities by item or by item in a particular warehouse, you can be alerted when stock falls below a specific value. System alerts not only show you which items, but also the magnitude of what is short. With our tools, you can always drill down to the detailed item information or reports that support a particular system alert. Furthermore, powered by the latest technology, we have amazing graphical charts that allow you to see what is going on within your inventory and drill down to the detail. The inventory status analysis here on the bottom right of this screen shows you all sorts of valuable information on where you may be short-stocked, have slow-moving inventory, as well as fast-moving or excessive inventory. But a picture is only worth so much, and the ability to drill down to detail is the key to taking information and turning that information into insight and turning that insight into action. As shown here, that statistical analysis tool can show you potential insufficient inventory and then let you drill down so that you can prevent, and all of this is real time, and the goal is to prevent issues before they happen. All of these screens are configurable to your specific needs, and this is just one example of how forward-looking tools can help improve your bottom line. You know, as a CPA, we were always counting the beans after the fact. But with today's technology, you can have forecasts and you can have projections, and you can even adjust those projections in real time to see how much inventory you should order. And the system will make recommendations, but at the end of the day, it's going to be your people who place the orders, because there is nothing that replaces the insight of the actual individual. But the tools can really provide you the guidance for making better decisions. A shameless plug for one of our ebooks on improving and optimizing inventory management. We published this a couple of months ago, and if you've heard anything of value today, there are many pearls of wisdom available in the book, and the best yet is that the price is free. So I believe that a follow-up to this webinar, a member of our team will be sending you the link, so there's no need for you to copy that long web page address that's showing on the screen now. So there's more than just the basics of distribution available on sapdistribution.com as well. We call our implementation program Start and Grow, because we have so much to assist you in taking your business to the next level. Additional packages are typically recommended in an additional phase after you've completed implementing the base package. Although we can and have included these additional blocks of service in the initial implementation, our customers have told us that the modular or phased approach works best. Change is hard, and companies often want to get through the basics first before overwhelming their staff. We partner with companies to save you money, so why would you pay for all your users when you're only implementing with a handful while you're setting up the system, or you're only implementing certain parts, so you don't need to buy licenses for everybody. This building block concept is just like phasing a construction process. You typically only charge customers based upon milestones. So you can't lay the tiles without ensuring that the surface is flat. You can't build kits until you have items in the system. You can't forecast demand until you have good sales history. So with our packaged and modular approach, you can see the value of each block and make a decision on what and when to purchase. You know, it's just like this phased approach is often more efficient for you guys as well, in terms of how much work you want us to provide is how much work you can do on your own. You know, the first time you use a wet saw, you may be okay with it, but after using it for a while, you become much more proficient and you eliminate waste. Software is the same. Becoming familiar with that base package, you can add the packages easier with less effort and less cost, because you understand the way the software thinks. Um, so these grow packages are also the way you really expand the reach of your business and add more of the mobile features or more of the advanced forecasting kind of functionality so that you can be driving from the front of the boat instead of looking out the back of the boat. So I did say I was going to get back to hiring qualified staff, and just a little bit on the millennial generation, which has really grown. It used to be people who were born after the year 2000, and now it includes a lot of the Gen X and the Gen Y type people are all lumped in as millennials, and in a stereotypical fashion. The research says that millennials want straightforwardness in what they understand to be a capricious and unstable world. Despite their reputation for laziness, they actually do work hard and feel strongly about wanting their work to be meaningful in ways that older generations typically do not insist upon. According to the United States Treasury, millennials actually tend to invest in organizations that prioritize the greater good more than previous generations. And unlike previous generations who were more concerned with charitable giving in traditional ways, millennials approach the question of how to invest their time and their money more strategically with an eye to more social impact investing. And that serves the greatest good. So these people are largely civic-minded and driven by their strong sense of local and global community. According to the Pew Research Center, millennials are far more concerned than their peers in institutional power structures and tend to be more upbeat than older generations despite much higher levels of student loan debt and unemployment. So these lessons are important to you when you're interacting with millennials and trying to attract them to come work for you. You have to understand that the word dank shown here, even though it does have a drug connotation as well, it means incredibly good or awesome. It doesn't mean some dark, dingy, wet, moist place. They speak a different language, a contemporary language, a millennial language. And to make yourself attracted to them, you have to it's just like omni-channel. You have to put yourself out there in a way that they want to be spoken to, which in a lot of cases is through social media. So just one case study of being the alternative, putting yourself in a position to attract people, through these social channels is 84 Lumber. 84 Lumber has got some tremendous profitability growth. They're a very large company, and they were having a real hard time getting qualified staff to manage their stores and drive their growth. And so they reached out to people at some of the leading universities who were not, they could be electrical engineers or just really intelligent people who weren't finding their way through the vocations they were trained to be in, which were typically the higher education, esoteric kind of jobs. And they put these people through their own training programs and got them socially involved and management training programs and put them into leadership in their stores. And these people are now making more than they would make as electrical engineers or other places, because at the end of the day, as we all know, we are all in sales, and sales is where the revenue comes from. So, be the alternative. Find a way to make your company attractive to people by giving back to the community or being social minded and making your place an easy place to work by providing the people the tools that they need to be successful. If you've got a really good salesperson and they're consistently getting the wrong answer out of their system, they're going to know that they could make more money someplace else if they could have a higher customer satisfaction. Return business is also the key to profitability. So if you're giving incorrect information to your salespeople, they'll want to go someplace else. If you're giving them great tools, mobile applications, they'll want to work for you. So qualified staff is a lot about how you position your company these days, and making it attractive to those millennials, and being the alternative to the other jobs out there on the market. So hopefully we've provided some insight into these four top problems. Hiring and training skilled labor. Again, we're not a recruiting firm, but we do think that you can make yourself more attractive by getting out there through many channels and showing what a great company you are. Having reviews on places like Glassdoor, which say, how it is that you work, how is it to work at your company. By being out there on all these channels and having an integrated e-commerce, multi-channel, omni-channel strategy, you can increase the sales and revenue. And through better tools, good unit of measure conversion, estimating tools, and finding a way to take the information that is out of the business owner's brain and putting it into systems can help increase the accuracy in estimates, takeoff, and budget. And of course, for a distribution company, the mantra is inventory. Having the right inventory, having only enough of the inventory, not too much, and making sure that inventory moves at the appropriate pace. Using some of the advanced statistical regression analysis tools to do projections are just part of today's system. And then, of course, organizing your warehouse so that people can pick, pack, and ship in an efficient manner. And all that comes together in a package like, the SAP Distribution solution. One system that can handle your entire business from prospecting to sales, to order fulfillment, collection, project accounting, and field service, with full financial capabilities and the latest dashboards and analytics to get you the information you need in real time. One system that ensures that everyone in your organization is working from the same playbook with the same information, and even better is that the same database drives your omni-channel, your e-commerce website to provide you and your customers real-time information on your cell phone, tablet, or wherever you may be. That one version of the truth. So at this time, what I'd like to do is open it up to questions. There are one or two things that I've gotten here in the chat, but we can also unmute your lines if anybody has a specific question. The first thing that was asked was about estimating tools and how we go about doing it in our solution. And not to be wishy-washy, but really it depends upon your particular business. We had one company that installed insulation in housing, and they had this really complex project management solution. And at the end of the day, it was a really simple process. So when we replaced their system, we put in a very simple process by which they had a sales bill of materials which listed all the ancillary parts that they needed, but was basically driven by the number of foot roll of insulation. And so they would just put in the number of foot roll insulation. It was on the quote, and that would drive the sales order. The sales order turned into the picking list, and the picking list was what was used to load the trucks and go out and install the stuff. So at the most simple level, it's almost like straight distribution. We also do have a project accounting module for people who do more phased work, installation, and need to capture budget versus actual when it includes labor, materials, and all that kind of stuff. it's a multi-step process, we also have a production module. So really, the key is taking the delivered solution and tailoring it to your business. And because we have such flexibility, we could do that without customizing the code, so you can continue to get those continuous upgrades. I hope that answered the question. So there's only one more question that I see in the chat, and that is about that tailoring, and it's how do you adjust this to our business? And really, there are a number of different tools that we have available in our package. The software not only provides you a lot of flexibility just with the core package that it has itself, but it also has the ability to add unlimited user-defined fields, or to group those fields into a user-defined table, and then to display those tables in what they call user-defined objects or screen. But really, one of the keys to the Business One solution is how its reporting and its query tool works. So anything that you can put into the form of a question of the data, we can use anywhere in the system. So if, like we were talking about, estimating scrap or waste factors, if you've got a formula that you use, and that formula can be stored in the database, then we can make that formula into what's called a query. And then we can add that query to a field so it can display that amount. Or we could use that calculated field to multiply against another amount. And then we can basically do anything we want with that kind of question. It could become an alert. It can become an approval procedure. So unlike a lot of other systems, instead of catching mistakes after the fact, if, let's say, somebody has entered a number and it doesn't fall into an allowable range of scrap, they put in an amount manually, they overrode the calculation, and they put scrap in at 36%, and we never have scrap of more than 10%, the system can stop that transaction dead in its tracks and send an approval procedure out. It saves the transaction as a draft so that nobody has to re-enter that information, but because it stopped it, the person who was stopped can send a note, hey, I need this 36% scrap because there's really something that I couldn't explain here, and I need this for this reason. And then the approver or approvers can actually either let it go or say, no, you can't do that. You need to fix the order so that it's set up right, so that we have that for the history later, and somebody else will know what's in your head, not what you buried in this scrap number. So there are a million and one ways to do it, and of course, reporting is the most flexible one. So I hope I answered that question too. If not, you can unmute or you can put something into the chat. Seeing no more questions, I'm going to give you guys back an extra 15 minutes in your day. But I really do appreciate you coming to the webinar, and hopefully those of you who are watching after the fact can get something of value from this webinar, from the ebook that we had mentioned earlier, or you could visit our sapdistribution.com webpage to see how we provide information like this on a regular basis. You can learn more about our systems and know that we can help you build that system to take you to the next level. Thanks so much for your time, and have a great day.